up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel. Stop making Fast and Furious movies!
Relax and chant with me. Feel better?
So yeah, I'm not a big fan of the Fast and the Furious movies. There are some movies that I think are okay to watch. I just don't think the series as a whole is any good. I just think the more recent movies just keep getting dumber and dumber with each film. And yeah, I like a few dumb movies, but not all of them get pointless sequels. But luckily, we're starting off with one that I actually like okay. The Fast and the Furious. Or The Fast and the Furious the original. Or The Fast and the Furious 2001. Or forget it. Now for those wondering why my hair is a lot shorter now, my editing has gotten so fast that it gave me a haircut and a Brazilian. Okay, not that last one. The Fast and the Furious was released in 2001 and was directed by Rob Cohen. It is the first installment of the popular franchise and stars Vin Diesel and Paul Walker. The movie centers around Brian O'Connor, played by Paul Walker. He is a new street racer and he is taken under the wing of popular street racer Dominic, played by Vin Diesel. Little does Dominic know is that Brian is an undercover cop and he is trying to figure out who is behind all these big rig hijackings. And Dominic and his rival Johnny Tran are the two main suspects. Now usually I wouldn't be bashing on the story as much as I would. It's a very simple story. But how can nobody not watch this movie and not think of Point Break that came out 10 years prior? There's differences of course, but for the most part it's still the same thing. You got the guru, you got the rookie cop, you got the love interest, you have the gang, you have the criminals who they thought were at fault but aren't.
I could go on forever, baby.
So there are a bunch of similarities. And to me, Point Break is the better movie. Point Break only needed one movie, and not some pointless remake or sequels. As for the characters, most of them aren't written very well. They're kind of bland, forgettable. And I know a lot of them do get some development in the other movies, but I'm just sticking to this movie alone. However, the two big standouts, of course, are Vin Diesel and Paul Walker. While I prefer more show and not tell, Vin Diesel does have a great voice, so he comes across what he's saying pretty good. Especially the scene where he talks about how his father died.
I remembered hearing him scream. The people that were there said that he had died before the tanks blew. They said it was me who was screaming.
I just wish he had less family memes. Now let's talk about Paul Walker. I like Paul Walker. Paul Walker did bring a lot of likability to this character. Brian O'Connor is kind of just the everyman in every movie, but I think there's just a pinch more to him. I do like that he doesn't want to come to the conclusion that Dominic might be responsible for all the hijackings. What else I like about Paul Walker's character is that despite his rivalry with the character Vince, when Vince gets hurt at the end, he still calls for medical help and blows his cover. Sure, he doesn't like him, but he still goes out of his way to help him. But other than that, everybody else is kind of dull. Dominic's sister is just the pretty sister. That's all she is in this movie. Vince is part of the crew, supposed to be Dominic's friend for years, but he's just a hothead jerk. He just throws fits over how Paul Walker has a crush on Dominic's sister, as does he.
I like the tuna here. Bullshit, asshole. No one likes a tuna here. Yeah, well, I do.
And he's not talking about the sandwich, Vince. Johnny Tran, completely forgettable. I'm amazed I can remember his name. That's all I remember from him. He's a dull villain. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I don't like Michelle Rodriguez. Her whole performance is just her standing around with her mouth open the whole entire time. Like, close your mouth! Now, I'm not saying she's a bad person or anything, of course. I just don't care for her in any movie she's in. And, Hopefully she doesn't see this video and you know, comes after me. Or one moment, please. Oh, hi, Michelle Rodriguez. Life lesson number 1, never piss off Michelle Rodriguez. Now wait a minute, didn't I say I like this movie? When it does the street racing portion of the movie, I like it. A lot of people say the Fast and Furious movies are about street racing, but for this first one, there wasn't that much street racing as I would have liked there to be. Maybe a few more races could have been there. I really don't consider this one to be a action movie. I think it's more of a more of a crime thriller. And I mean that in a positive way, of course. I also like the not so reliance on CGI in the movie. For example, when they're revving up their cars and starting it up, you see all the gears turn and it's all CGI. That's really all I needed. There's a few green screens when they're driving, of course, but it's not distracting. Although the first race scene is supposed to be about maybe 10 seconds and the editing makes it seem a lot longer. So that's not a flaw in my opinion, that's just a little nitpick. My favorite scene is the 18-wheeler hijacking towards the end. There's just a lot of adrenaline to it, especially when Vince is on there, he's hooked up and the driver is just shooting away at them. And the little short race at the end between Dominic and Brian is really great, especially when they just barely pass the train coming towards them.
Here comes Speed Racer, he's a demon on wheels.
Also, every time there's a fight going on, it's not all that choreographed, it's not silly looking, it actually looks realistic. Sure, I like Dwayne Johnson doing rock bottoms to Jason Statham, but still, when they fight in this movie, it looks like a fight. And the movie really earns that PG-13 rating. If I wanted to see this movie when it first came out, I don't think my parents would let me. Nowadays, we live in a world where parents let their kids play GTA 5, so what do I know? The two biggest problems for me are the characters and the story. The story, like I said, is basically Point Break with street racing. And while the story in this one is simple and not as outrageous as all the others, it's simple and works for what it is. It makes a lot more sense than Cardi B owning a bunch of sports cars and she doesn't know how to drive the darn things. I guess I know what the B in Cardi B stand for. Backseat. Or other words. And while some of the characters aren't as developed in this movie, there are a lot more other movies that they do get a little bit more development. But the movie's strengths are where they're at. It's the racing, the cars that I really like, that make me like this one a bit more. Very mixed review, but I do enjoy this one. For its simple story, it's fun racing, our two lead characters, not overly relying on CGI, I'm going to give The Fast and the Furious 5.5 out of 10 open mouth Michelle Rodriguez's. Wow, wasn't that scoring a mouthful? So that was my review of The Fast and the Furious. And when did you know it, I finally made a video that is under 10 minutes. It's pretty fast. Just like my sex life. Did you get that on video? Okay, turn the camera off. Stop recording, don't. So what did y'all think? Did I do a good job? Leave a comment down below. Leave any suggestions for a future video. Follow my Instagram at abomb1996. Check this out, I just got a text from Vin Diesel. He says, he and his whole family are coming after me after talking bad about Michelle Rodriguez, Cardi B, and GTA 5. Well, until next time, I will see you guys later. Out the window!